So before you jump on me and say that I am criticizing Avowed, I am actually not. The game is pretty decent and it has some good combat, and even the story is pretty damn good. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's okay. The problem I have right now with this particular situation is that the press and the media is trying to push the molded or the skewed perception that the game is an absolute crazy success online and it's selling like crazy, which, you know, if you look at the stats and the numbers and start comparing, it's actually not what they're talking about. So check out some of these things we have seen here, which is just incredible. On Game Rant, we have this particular article. Avowed is already a big hit on Steam. That's right. And why? Well, basically they're trying to convince everyone that because the game has reached the top seller chart on Steam, surpassing the newly released Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the game is selling millions. But actually that's not the case. The top selling chart doesn't really mean anything. What actually means and shows is what is the actual concurrent players, because that shows to you every single day if there's more people playing it or less people playing it. Now the Steam concurrent player list for this particular game, as you can see in Avowed, is not looking that crazy. I mean, the top maximum we reached after launch was 17,490 people. That is a decent, okay-ish number, but is not a massive success. You know what? Do you want to see what a massive, crazy success is? Well, let's just check out, for example, Stalker 2, which was also on the Game Pass. The concurrent players was 121,000 players. That's right. That was for a game under the same condition. It was on Game Pass, alright, and it had literally almost, I know, 9 times, 8 times more people playing it on Steam at the same time in the release window. Let's check out Starfield. Starfield, which released also in 2023, the concurrent all-time peak players for the game was 330,000 at the same time when this game was available on the Game Pass, and still on Steam it made quite a lot of sales. So what's happening here is that these people, the press, is trying to skew perception of the people that this is a very positive sale, most likely because this company has people working in it. As we all remember, the art director who wanted to own Elon Musk, to own the chuds for adding pronouns in the game, although now they made the pronouns actually optional, so you can turn them off because, you know, the Trump effect happened and, you know, they have to basically make sure that people have the freedom to avoid or ignore the pronouns, because pronouns are not recognized anymore in USA. You only have male and female, and that's it. They removed the pronouns from government agencies and all this stuff, because pronouns, at the end of the day, it's something that, from my point of view personally, it doesn't add anything to a video game. It just adds political point of views and political dilemma and political problems, which then is going to separate the community in pieces. I mean, so why would you even want to add pronouns to pander to the so-called modern audience? I mean, from my point of view, I just don't get it, right? And look at this one, because the article on Game Rant is just absolutely pathetic, the way it tries to kind of gaslight you into it. I mean, why don't they just say the truth? Is that, yes, the game released, it was a decent success, but they're trying to almost convince you that is just incredible. I mean, look at this one. SteamDB recorded about 8,700 people, active players at the time of writing, which is an applaudable start to the game's longevity, and it reached an all-time peak of 17,000 people on its first day launch. Avowed's modding is also off to a strong start, with various quality of life mods flooding the scene. One player in particular has already created 9 mods to improve the title's gameplay for unique immersion, and this is a promising progression that proves gamers are taking a deeper interest in the Avowed experience. Diving into the game's potential roadmap, Avowed players already have ideas for post-launch content, with the potential feature of sticking out like a sore thumb. The call for a new game plus to be added to the title's later content is getting louder, as players would appreciate the chance to build on Avowed's player choice focus and experiment with the different systems on offer. So effectively, this article is trying to kind of I know, force the perception that the game is a crazy success and then that they're selling a lot of copies. Even this one here, Avowed tops top bestsellers in Steam despite backlash. So again, they're trying to almost like own the chuds and say, oh, just guess what, like this game which has pronouns which are optional, yeah, it's a great game and is making lots of money. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, 17,000 concurrent players is quite AA standards. It's it's pretty average, pretty regular. If this game would not be on the support from Microsoft, very important, would this game make a profit? That's the big question, because right now a ton of people are playing it on Game Pass for pretty much free, right? And people who are only actually paying for the game are quite a small population, quite different from Stalker 2, in which Stalker 2, although it was on Game Pass, it still made a huge amount of sales on Steam. I mean, the numbers talk for themselves. The article goes on, and on The Gamer says the following: now, following Avowed's full release on February 18th, the game is off to a respectable commercial start. Despite being available on Game Pass, Avowed peaked over 17,000 concurrent players on the day of the full release. This peak is approximately 5,000 players higher than Indiana Jones and The Great Circle, another Game Pass title. This is crazy. According to a Reddit thread on Homemade Desk Shock, Avowed is currently the best-selling title on Steam that it stays beating out pre-orders for Monster Hunter Wilds and purchases of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This isn't entirely surprising given the large proportion of players purchase a game on its release date, but it's still worth noting. Avowed 17,000 peak players on Steam isn't far off of the peak number of players of the Outer Worlds, which was 20,300. So actually it's quite far off. I mean, they're trying to tell you that this game is not worse, but it's actually, we're looking at literally over 3,000 people who did not purchase this game, although the Outer Worlds had higher concurrent peak players, which would tell you something. That means that the sentiment of people playing this game was not the best, because if you have 3,000 people playing less the game, how can you defend this as being a commercial success? I mean, I just don't understand, like this sort of like articles and also like trying to force the perception that the game is a commercial success and it's incredible, and trying to gaslight people. I mean, these journalists think like people are stupid, like people don't have brain, that people can't go to SteamDB and search by themselves and compare the numbers and see that other Game Pass games have had a much better success. So this game in particular is not huge, is not massive, is actually quite okay-ish, because 17,000 for a game releasing on the first weekend, it's pretty mid. Let's just be honest, it's pretty mid. So guys, that's it for today's video on Avowed. Honestly, like I said before, the game is not that bad. It's okay, it's acceptable. I mean, the game has its problems, but don't let the media convince you that this is a crazy commercial success, because it's not. It's literally not it. I don't know what they're trying to do here. Like, if they're really obsessed with owning the chuds, because the game director of Avowed, he hates Elon Musk, and now the media, the press, obviously they also hate Elon Musk, so they're trying to get back at him, to kind of saying and shouting that the game is a commercial success. Maybe this is what's happening here. I don't know, but it just feels a bit cringe from these people on this media and the press and the Journos to kind of try to push this narrative, which is pretty obvious that is not a massive success whatsoever. It's just a decent, acceptable, marginally acceptable success, but nothing over the top. Anyway guys, that's it for today's video. As always, see you later in the next one.